So, hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming, here with another incredibly special The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now, if you saw yesterday's video in which we got to take down a beautiful Fabled Snow Great One Tahr, I mentioned that there was a part 2 to that video. Because after I shot the Fabled Snow, I carried on grinding. Because, as I've said, I'm going to keep grinding Tahr until the tent change comes into effect. And several hours later, at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I come to this zone, get up in my tripod, and I see a huge grey ball of fluff walking around. And it's this guy. A Fabled Grey Great One Tahr. This was one of the top 2 furs that I didn't have that I really wanted because I had 4 furs. When I started the grind, you know, on the night where I got both of these great ones, the Fabled Snow and the Fabled Grey, there were 4 furs I didn't have, being, of course, the Snow and the Grey, and the Scars and the Latte. And the 2 sort of top ones of those 4 that I didn't have that I really wanted to get were the Scars and the Grey. I love all of them, but I really, really like the Scars and the Grey. And so when I saw this guy and I knew without a doubt that it was the Fabled Grey, I got so excited. This guy is absolutely stunning. Same as the Fabled Snow. Like, this was such a crazy night for me, and if you watched yesterday's video, you'll have heard me talk all about how much of an amazing experience it was getting to take down the Fabled Snow, and just, it was such an amazing, incredible experience. But then once, you know, after a couple of hours and I'd filmed the Fabled Snow and taken it down and put it in the trophy lodge, I just wanted to carry on grinding because I, you know, still had furs I was missing, and now I've got my Tahr to a really good point. I may as well just keep on grinding them until these tent changes come into effect, and I'm going to have to, like, change my setups, or just everything will be a little bit more complicated because of how some of my zones are. They're not easy to place tents and stuff for, so it will change a lot of things if it goes ahead as planned with the 250 meter spook radius. So I'm just going to keep grinding until then and just see what we can get in that period of time. So once I shot the snow, I carried on grinding, and literally 4 o'clock in the morning, this guy spawned. And I was like, there's no way. I started panicking and freaking out, because 2 great ones in one night is something I've only had happen, I think, once. And that was a moose and a whitetail on the same night. I went from grinding whitetail to grinding moose and got 2 great ones on the same night. But 2 great one Tahr? You know, these guys are regarded as the hardest great one in the game to get. It's the hardest grind. They're tough, they're finicky, they're hard to pin down. And as I said in the Fabled Snow video, I'm like over 10,000 kills into grinding these guys. And I don't even know how many hundreds of hours. It's so much work that I've put into these guys. And now everything's going so smoothly. I'm getting diamond after diamond after diamond. You know, I've had runs where I've had 5 level 5s in a run, and you know, I'm only grinding like 6 or 7 zones. So that's the level of how I've gotten my Tahr and how refined I've gotten everything. And then literally after I shot the snow, I had a couple of max weight diamonds, and I was like, okay, things are still just going really well, because I will have periods of time where diamonds don't spawn for a few runs and I start going, oh my gosh, has something spawned somewhere on the map that, you know, isn't in one of my normal zones, and I'm going to have to go and try and find a random Tahr that's bounced out somewhere. But things just carried on going really, really smooth, and so I just carried on grinding, and he showed up. And he's just so beautiful. I mean, that blue-grey just fur on the body, and then you've got that white mane, and then the white speckles down the legs and on the face. This Tahr is just absolutely stunning. There's no other words for it. And I remember during the reveal stream video, where we got to see the Great One Tahr furs for the first time, Jaxie actually spawned in the Fabled Gold, which was the first Great One Tahr I got, and then the Fabled Grey. And I'm pretty sure that in the video I made about it afterwards, talking about all the furs, that I even said that the Fabled Gold and the Fabled Grey, to me, are like a pair. because to me, the Fabled Gold reminds me of the sun, like a physical animal representation of the sun, and the Fabled Grey reminds me of like a representation of the moon. In terms of all the colouring and everything, that's what they remind me of. And I really wish there was a multi-mount for 2 male Tahr. Like, we have the multi-mount of 2 male ibex fighting, I believe it's called head-to-head, with 2 different species of ibex fighting. Literally, if they just copied and pasted that and had it as 2 male Tahr, I would have the gold and the grey facing off, because they literally, to me, are just like a pair. And I've put them next to each other in the lodge, because that's just how they look to me. This guy looks like either some sort of mountain rock come to life, you know, with the snow on him, or like I said, like the moon. He's just absolutely stunning. That grey-blue fur, like I said, with the white mane and then the white down the back and the dapples on the legs, it's just absolutely stunning. Now, we are going to take this guy with the 44 Wildcat Magnum. I wanted to do, again, something different with this guy. Like I did with the Fabled Snow, I wanted to use a bit of a different weapon, because, you know, until the Fabled Snow, it's all been rifles. So, you know, any Great One Tahr that spawn now, I want to try and use some different weapons. I've got a specific plan if the Fabled Scars spawns. You know, there's a few different things I'd like to be able to do, so we are going to continue grinding after this and actually see if we can get any more to show up before the tent changes. But thankfully, the shot on this guy went to plan. He didn't go very far at all after that shot. And I mean, just look at this guy up close. Those crystal blue eyes, as Beard described them. And I do think crystal blue is just a perfect description of them. They're like icy. Just so gorgeous. And I mentioned it in another video. Eyes are so important. With a game like this and trying to make animals feel lifelike or realistic or special or anything like that, it's eyes that are so important. Eyes can make things look fake or look real. You know, it's such an important detail, and they nailed them with the Great One Tahr. I mean, look at all of these little details. Like I said, the little dapples on the legs. It's just a work of art. Again, I said it in the Fabled Snow video, but the artists who made the Great One Tahr, they need so much praise, because these are stunning. I genuinely think this is some of their best work in terms of Great One design. They are just stunning. And seeing things like this makes me so excited for, you know, future Great Ones as well, because I think they're nailing these recent Great Ones, like the Great One Moose, and then these guys. Just amazing. And picking him up, get the music, we see the medal, everything went to plan, we got the medal, everything's good. Which, I say this in every video, but this is the moment where I breathe a huge sigh of relief as soon as we see the medal and hear the music, because even if I see Vital Blood on the ground, and you'll have heard me say this probably 10 times before if you've seen any of my videos, that, you know, until that moment where I see the harvest screen, I'm always slightly worried that maybe the game has told me it's a vital hit and it's not, or something like that, because sometimes weird things happen in this game. You know, I've shot things and it's given me the wrong blood and stuff like that. It happens from time to time. Like, sometimes you'll shoot something in the vitals once, and then you'll shoot it badly, and then it'll give you 2 spots of vital blood or whatever, so sometimes things happen. So until this moment, where I see it in the harvest screen, and I see that it says Great One, we see the medal icon, and we hear that music, there's always a moment where I'm just like, what if I accidentally shot this in the spine? What if this happened? What if that happened? What if I did something wrong? Because I always, you know, will say it. I'm not perfect. I make bad shots sometimes. It happens. You shoot thousands and thousands and thousands of animals. Sometimes you're going to mess shots up. And it just happens. It happens to everyone. It doesn't matter how much you play this game. You know, we had the one Fabled half where I had to make a quick follow-up shot to save the medal. Things go wrong. So I'm always relieved just to see that everything went to plan. And just, this guy is just stunning. He is absolutely stunning. And according to his true score, he's very, very slightly wonky. Like, only just a tiny bit, if you look at some of the measurements. but a little bit of character, which is cool. I always like, you know, some that have some character. I've even seen pictures of Great One Tahr posted that have 2 completely different horns, because there are multiple horn styles for the Great One Tahr. You know, we've seen a few here on the channel. We've had the big horns like this that were shown on the reveal stream. Obviously the Fabled Snow had different horns to this. One of my Fabled Halves had different horns, you know, so there are different horn styles. And there's still some horn styles that I've not seen on any of the Great One Tahr I've shot that I've seen posted around. So it's always cool to see slight differences with the horns and everything and see how different they can get. And it's just really cool. Like I said, I think they did such a good job with these guys. Like, everything about them is just fantastic to me. I absolutely love them. Literally, these, honestly, I love the Great One Moose, but these are really vying for top spot for me. I just love the furs. I love the furs. For me, the Great One Moose was all about the antlers, but for the Tahr, it's all about that fur, and I just love their designs. Just such majestic creatures. I mean, wow. Tahr, in and of themselves, are an amazing species in real life and in game, and I was so excited when I found out we were going to have Tahr in the Hunter Call of the Wild finally. And then they come out with them being the Great One, and we saw that they were going to have no drink zones, and it was like, oh my gosh, are these things going to be impossible to grind? And I have just dedicated myself heart and soul to figuring these guys out, working them out, and trying to get a grind going as good as possible. And at this point, I'm really, really happy with what I've managed to achieve. I wasn't sure I'd ever manage one Great One Tahr, and then, you know, I got that Fabled Gold really early on, and just ever since, it's been just such a huge addiction to these guys, because they are harder to get, and they're different. And I love them, and I think it's so cool. And I hope we see more things like this, actually, in the future, where, you know, they're a bit different, and maybe they have slightly different mechanics, because it gives me something to toy with, and to spend hours and hours figuring it out until I get it to a place like I have with my Tahr grind. And then you see all the rewards coming through, and it just makes, like I said, the 10,000 plus Tahr kills, that's a lot, 10,000 plus Tahr. But a lot of the great ones have come, you know, in the last few thousand, and that's because my grind is at the point it is now. You'll see it with everybody's grinds. Once your herd management gets to a certain point and you get your grind really efficient and going really good, and you've got a high diamond rate, you'll see more and more great ones coming from your grind, and that's exactly what has happened here. And I couldn't be more thrilled to see all of the hard work and the sleepless nights paying off. You know, all of the time I've been thinking and working and just planning. So much goes into it behind the scenes. Obviously, you guys just see these videos where we get the cool trophies. If I could stream, I would love to stream these grinds, but I literally can't. At the minute, my setup is a laptop hooked up to a TV. When I want to record, I'm sat on my bed right now holding a microphone in one hand. That is how I record. I have no other way of recording. If I do a collab stream or anything, I'm on Discord using a pair of just cheap phone headphones, because that's the only way I can do things at the minute. And I don't want to obviously do streams where the quality isn't good and my internet sucks. So sometimes uploading videos takes hours, and I have done stream tests to see if it would cope with the speed, and it just doesn't. Or it does, and it just means that nobody else in the house can use internet. So it's not really possible right now. I'm hoping that one day, in the future, if I do get to move in finally with my partner, because we're long distance, that, then I'll be able to have a proper streaming setup. But I just can't stream at the moment. So this is the best I can do, is show these moments. And I'm so, so grateful that I do actually have a way that I can share these moments, because for me, this was insane. Just a crazy, crazy night to go from having only 3 furs for the Great One Tahr to having 5 was just insane. Within a few hours, it was absolutely wild. 2 incredible experiences with 2 incredibly beautiful Great One Tahr. And I'll link the Fabled Snow video in the description in case you didn't see that one. So you can go and check that one out. You know, that also happened on the same night as this guy, just a few hours before. But both animals to me are so special and so unique in their own ways that they deserved their own videos. But that is going to be it for this one. So thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always. You are all so amazing, and I really do appreciate all of your kind words, well wishes, just everything. And I love hearing about all your trophies and how your grinds are going, as I said in yesterday's video. So I really love getting to read all your comments. So thank you so much for that. But that is going to be it for this one. Now I'm going to go and continue grinding Tahr and see if any others pop up. But that is going to be it for this one, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.